Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Regardless of your bait, you still have to talk to women. Regardless of your bait, you still have to talk to women. Look, you know what? Because when I'm going to be real, I'm going to be real with it. I see a lot of people focused on the bait. Like just focused on the bait in here, right? Hell, I'm focused on the bait or to some extent, when I talk about body game, but it's bait. But I've always said it's a foundation. But then you get some other people, they're talking about looks, money, and status. And I'm like, yeah, that's all you need. And I've actually seen some people say, well, you don't need personality. Well, that don't mean anything. And I already know these people don't have too much experience with women. Because I don't care what your bait is, just that, your bait. You got to have a hook. Like bait. That's like putting a worm or whatever on on a fishing line, putting it in the water. But there's no hook there to get them. The hook, you still got to have a hook. The hook is conversation with a woman. The hook is conversation with a woman. You still got to have that conversation. In fact, I saw something the other day from a dude who's a model. He's a model, a professional model. He was talking about it because he was saying, yeah, you can be attractive and stuff, but that only give you maybe 30, 40 extra seconds with a woman. Because think about it. And I've said this, I did a on-demand video about it. Women decide in the first 3 seconds what she want to do with it. She decides in the first 3 seconds, right? So that's definitely based on how the man look, he dress, how he move and everything, right? So if the man is attractive though, and she can be like, oh yeah, he can get it. So she decide that in the 3 seconds. He approaches her, or sometimes, depending on how he look, she might approach him. But like that model said, that only gives you, if you're attractive, that only gives you 30, 40 other seconds. I say a minute. That gives you a minute more. So she like, oh yeah, he fine. All right, you got a minute to hook it in there. You got a minute. Now let's use that looks, money, and status thing. First of all, she can't see your status. She cannot see your status. And with the money thing, only way that works, if you trying to approach a woman or you talking to a woman randomly, she's either you in some environment where everybody has a certain status, like you at an upper crust party or something. But then if she's at that upper crust party, well, not only you competing with other men, but she probably up there too. So what you got don't impress her, right? So the only thing she can, and getting back to the money thing, you might be able to pull up in some like fancy car or something, and she see that, and you got the fly clothes on, expensive looking clothes. She can see that. She still can't see your status though. And if you look good to her, she can see that. Okay, you got another minute then. You got another minute. You still got to talk to her. You still got to talk to her. And what have I said constantly? Women have told me this. This ain't something I got from men. Women have said this. They've said it constantly. They said he was all right till he opened his mouth. And, that mouthpiece, what I say the other day, I talked about that this week. That mouthpiece is your, how you standing, the tone of your voice, everything, how you look at them. Yeah, you can look good, but if you get out there, you can look good getting out of, a Porsche or something, or, a Corvette, or, some other fancy car. You can look real good to them, right? But then you open your mouth and you're not saying much. Or she don't like the tone of your voice, or you just got a lousy mouthpiece. You don't know how to talk. Boom, you're in trouble. And she'd be like, oh, he was all right till he opened his mouth, Now, the only time that money or, that visible sign of wealth will keep going is if she's a gold digger. She's specifically looking for it. And, you get some women and some guys get dumb and they think, oh, yeah, that's it and everything. It's like, no. Being a trick, what that mean? You want to get that type of woman that you can shoot. You got the bait. Okay, you got her over there. She's lured over there. But then you can talk to her. You can have a regular conversation. That's what takes it to another level. In fact, I'm going to tell you how deep that is. A lot of times, if a man can have like so-so bait, average, but if he can talk, all of a sudden the woman's like, wait a minute, he can have a good conversation. Wait a minute, All of a sudden, I'm going to tell you what, that's why you get some guys who may be average looking, but they get plenty of women. And people can't figure it out. They say, no, they had just enough to get her attention. Just enough. And women, despite what a lot of guys think, they will talk to an average looking guy. Oh, shoot, sometimes an ugly man, depending on how he dress and how he walking and stuff, they'll pay attention. In fact, an ugly man, and I'm going to talk about that next week, but an ugly man, if that dude coming up there, he walking confidently and he's cool and calm, everything, that'll fascinate her. She'd be like, wait a minute, that dude got an ugly face, but he ain't walking. He walking with some confidence, got his head up, dressed nice. She get close enough, smell good. Then he open his mouth, he got that deep voice or something that really like does something. Please. She's like, oh. And then he, hit her with that verbal aphrodisiac, that conversation, get her laughing, boom, boom. But that's the key piece. That's the key piece. And a lot of guys, what I'm seeing is a lot of guys thinking, oh, just had that bait. Like I said, and I've said this and read an excerpt from my book yesterday talking about this, right? You still, if the woman just strictly just want to have sex, you can be quiet. Or if they strictly want to, empty your bank account, oh, yeah, the looks and money thing, just as good. But you still got that personality. You still got to talk. You still got to be interesting. Because the conversation, how you talk to her, affect her emotions. Her emotions are connected to her womb. So that's another way in. In fact, that's old school, what people call game, was to have that rap. Back in the day, we called it a rap, that conversation, everything. All right? You got to have that no matter what you look like. Because, like I said, I mentioned the model. He said that. He said, looking good, just give you maybe, he said 30 to 40 seconds more. And I said, I'd be nice. I'd give it another minute. But if you don't have that good talk, that good conversation, boom. In fact, me using the term good talk, I remember I was talking with a young lady one time, and she even said it. She was like, damn, that was a good talk. She said it like that. She said, that was a good talk. Me and her still cool. Somebody else I could just text. So, it's like, you got to have that. I don't care what your bait is. The bait is great. Let me be clear. You need to have that bait. You gotta have that bait, right? Or as Master Teacher BG has to call it, that trap. You gotta have that. But then you gotta be able to hook them in. You gotta be able to talk to them. This is very, very important. And guys need to do it. Check out, re-listen to that podcast I did the other day about your mouthpiece. You gotta get up there and practice it. Because trust me, because see, here's the thing. Women think a lot of guys look good, but then that's just, if he got some other stuff or a weird person, not something, they get turned off. And there's a lot of times. One woman even called it instant dryness. So you got to have that talk. You got to have that mouthpiece. All right? Think on this. Talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.